We are getting festive in this special Christmas-themed episode of Seek Out the Arts. Welcome back to the Daily Connoisseur. In this special Christmas-themed episode of Seek Out the Arts, I'm sharing my favorite Christmas carol. We are going to be studying the Annunciation by Fra Angelico, reading Christmas poetry, and more. Before we begin, a few announcements. As we did last year, the ad revenue from this video will be donated to Inner City Arts, which is a wonderful organization that provides valuable arts education to underserved communities. So I will leave Inner City Arts down below. And this episode of Seek Out the Arts is brought to us by the Chic Society, which is channel memberships here on YouTube. I do one vodcast every Friday, and I go live once a month. We do a Zoom call or I do a live stream. If you love this channel, it's a great way to connect on a deeper level with the Daily Connoisseur community. We also have a pen pal program. There's so much going on in the Chic Society. You've been seeing upper tiers here, and at the end of this video, I'm going to be mentioning the Elegant Connoisseurs to you. They are business owners, artists, writers, or high patrons of the channel, and I really appreciate them. Okay, let's start off with the musical selection. So before I do, in the comment section, I would love to know what your favorite Christmas carol is. Mine has always been, hands down, O Holy Night. Every version of O Holy Night, whether it's a rock version or a classical version, just gets me. It is the most beautiful carol. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I have an amazing performance of O Holy Night for you. It's from the King's College Boys Choir in England. This performance is positively magical. The organs, the boys' voices, the cathedral, it is so special. One that you have to play at Christmas time. So I'm going to be leaving that performance down below. And now let's do a deep dive into Fra Angelico's The Annunciation. This was painted between 1438 and 1445, and it currently resides in the Museo del Prado in Madrid. So before we jump into it, a little bit about Fra Angelico. He was an Italian painter of the early Renaissance, and he was described by Vasari in his Lives of the Artists as having a rare and perfect talent, and I would have to agree with that assessment. His reputation was earned from the frescoes that he did for his own friary in San Marco in Florence. So because this is a Christmas theme, Seek Out the Arts, we are studying the Annunciation. The Annunciation is the part in the Bible where the angel Gabriel comes as a messenger from God to the Virgin Mary to tell her that she will be the mother of Christ. It's a very pivotal point, obviously, in biblical history. Many artists have interpreted this moment in time, and Fra Angelico himself made many Annunciation portraits. This one is one of my favorites. There's another one he does where the words are coming out of their mouths that I also like. But let's study this one because of the sunbeam, which we will get to in just a moment. Okay, we always have to be superficial and start off with what they're wearing, and this is no exception. So let's take a look here. We have the angel Gabriel, who is beautifully clothed in a fine robe that appears to be dark pink with gold embroidery. And he has blue underpinnings to his gown here. He is so richly decked out that his clothing is meant to convey that he is bringing with him all the riches of God's kingdom. His wings are also really ornate. They appear to be bird-like with gold feathers and various details, but the primary color there is gold. He is a transcendent messenger of the divine, and he bows before the Virgin Mary. So we take a look here at the Virgin Mary, who is imagined by Fra Angelico. She's clothed in a red dress. I know it looks like it's another kind of salmon color, but in everything that I studied, they say that her dress is in fact red. And she has a resplendent blue robe. Her blue robe is in an ultramarine color. This was a very expensive pigment, and the way that they got this color was they painstakingly extracted it from the semi-precious gemstones lapis lazuli, excavated thousands of miles away in Afghanistan's Valley of Stone. Okay, so I found that fact to be very interesting. I read in one place that the red symbolizes humanity and the blue in her robe symbolizes divinity and the Christ in her and her coming role as the mother of Christ. Her hair is tied back. She has an ornate band on her head. She does not appear to be wearing any jewelry, and she is sitting on a makeshift throne. She has her arms crossed in humble acceptance of the task before her. In this interpretation, Mary has been reading, so a devotional book is open at her knee, insinuating that she was interrupted when the angel came to visit. Mary looks at Gabriel here, and she looks a little nervous to me, like she's processing the information that he's giving her. Now let's have a look at the space they're in. The ceiling is low. I love the ceiling because it's studded with stars. It's very whimsical. The perspective is off because clearly if Mary stands up, her head would touch the top of the ceiling. But from what I have read, Fra Angelico is, by making their stature so large in this small space, he's conveying the importance of these two characters. If you have a look at the floor, that's almost a detail that I missed here. It appears to have a cloud-like celestial hue to it. It's really pretty and has waves. So the space that they're in is very ornate and beautiful. Let's have a look now to the left outside of the portico. We see another scene here. This is Adam and Eve being expelled from the Garden of Eden. So let's have a look at these two figures. Eve is the only one in the whole painting who is looking at the viewer. If you zoom in on her face, it's a little bit unsettling how she's looking at us. Adam is in deep distress next to her. Art historian Dr. James Romaine said, she engages the viewer as the first mother of humanity, Eve does. Mary is to be regarded as the second Eve, as the mother of Christ. By pairing these unconnected scenes, Adam and Eve being expelled from the garden and the Annunciation, Fra Angelico is highlighting the redemptive power that the story of Christ is now taking. Now have a look at the sun, which is my favorite part of the painting. So there shoots from the sunbeam this magical ray that cuts between both scenes, the outside scene in the Garden of Eden and cutting through into the portico here. God's hands are stretched out in the sun, a lifeline, if you will. He is making this ray of sunshine shoot straight to Mary. And then if you look closely, there is a dove inside the sunbeam. And of course, the dove represents the Holy Spirit. The dove has a halo here, just like the angel Gabriel and the Virgin Mary have a halo. And their halos are gilded and they are ornate. I have always had such a fascination with halos in art. So I love that detail of the sunbeam and the dove inside the sunbeam and the dove's halo. There are two more details worth noting. There is a sculpted head in the portico above everything. Most research that I read says that this is God the Father, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. And then directly above the dove to the right, you see a swallow, which is interesting. This is not placed there by chance. Some people think the swallow represents the resurrection of Christ because the swallow disappears and returns every spring, just as Christ died and was reborn again. So that is one interpretation of the swallow. And some art historians think that the swallow is merely a reference to the new Christian spring that is about to occur. So that is Fra Angelico's Annunciation. As I mentioned, there is another Annunciation he did, and he did many, where the angel Gabriel is speaking words to Mary, and her words are coming back to him. Her words are upside down, meant to be read by God the Father. And that one is really special too. But overall, I just absolutely love this painting. I always have loved it. The colors, the richness, the symbolism. And I think that it's a wonderful painting to study during the Christmas season. So let us know what your thoughts are on Fra Angelico's The Annunciation in the comment section down below. And now for the poetry corner, I'm going to be reading 3 Christmas poems that are definitely going to get you in the festive spirit. The first one is Christmas Carol by Sarah Teasdale. The kings they came forth from out the south, all dressed in ermine fine. They bore him gold and chrysoprase and gifts of precious wine. The shepherds came from out the north, their coats were brown and old. They brought him new little-born lambs, they had not any gold. The wise men came from out the east, and they were wrapped in white. The star that led them all the way did glorify the night. The angels came from heaven high, and they were clad with wings, And lo, they brought a joyful song, the host of heaven sings. The kings, they knocked upon the door, the wise men entered in. The shepherds followed after them to hear the song begin. The angels sang through all the night until the rising sun, but little Jesus fell asleep before the song was done. And now I'm going to read Mistletoe by Walter de la Mare. Sitting under the mistletoe, pale green fairy mistletoe, one last candle burning low, all the sleepy dancers gone, just one candle burning on, shadows lurking everywhere, someone came and kissed me there. Tired I was, my head would go, nodding under the mistletoe, pale green fairy mistletoe. No footsteps came, no voice but only, just as I sat there sleepy, lonely, stooped in the still and shadowy air, lips unseen, and kissed me there. And finally, to end on a whimsical note, I have Help Wanted by Timothy Tosher. Santa needs new reindeer. The first bunch has grown old. Dasher has arthritis. Comet hates the cold. Prancer's sick of staring at dancers big behind. Cupid married Blitzen, and Donder lost his mind. Dancer's mad at Vixen for stepping on his toes. Vixen's being thrown out. She laughed at Rudolph's nose. If you are a reindeer, we hope you will apply. There is just one tricky part. You must know how to fly. I love that poem. So it's a Help Wanted ad for a new reindeer because they're all going a bit bonkers. That's a great poem by Timothy Tosher. Okay, so I like to end with a fun and meaningful assignment that we can all do each month. And this month, I want us adults to focus on having fun as children again, because it can be so stressful this time of year if we allow it to be, where we're getting gifts for people, we're doing all the things for our children. I mean, there's so many holiday social engagements for the children this time of year. But I want you to have some fun. So whether it's time to just read a book or play a Christmas carol on the piano or simply soak in the season, I hope that you take time to look after yourself this month. And now I'm going to be sharing the Elegant Connoisseurs with you. The 90-Day Memoir with Alan Watt and the LA Writers Lab. Jenny Williams from Carrot Top Paper Shop. Elaine Brisebois, Certified Nutritionist and Women's Weight Loss Coach. Emily McNeil, Fine Art. Ashley Buffa, Freedom Mom's Smart Kids Chore System. Guy Blaze, author of Love Like the French, A Guide to Better Romance and Relationships. Carrie Van Hooser, author of 'Tis the Season for Poetry, Macondo Forever Woven Placemats. Mrs. Shockley from A Home for Elegance. Teresa Maples from Self-Care Routine Cards. Alan's Scottish Shortbread. Sturm Brothers Custom Design and Fine Jewelry. The Apron Diva by Denise Jordan with pretty and practical aprons. And thank you to the following: Catherine Ray, Adelaide Beer, Anna Mae Heron, Anne Marie Ramsey, Catherine Higginbotham, Darby's Weifel, Jenny Candelaria, Gina K. Henry, Julie Coleman, Juliette Keeler-Laban, Karen Lynn Poulos, Kelly Cruz, artist, Linda Eckloff, Living in Loveliness, Carly Tom, Marie Caudill, Moonshadow Welsh Ponies, and Sean Ricci. Thank you so much to the Chic Society for bringing us this video. Don't forget the ad revenue for this video will be benefiting inner city arts, so please share this with your friends for some festive holiday entertainment. Thank you for joining us here today, everyone. Keep calm and remain classy, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.